Hey guys, so in part 1 of this video, I talked about the new hero Hoodwink, along with the Scepter Shard upgrades and the hero reworks. And in this video, I'm going to talk about all the item changes, new items and the neutral items. And if you guys already didn't watch part 1 of this video, you guys can go check it out, the link is in the description box below. By the way, this video and part 1 of this video aren't just patch reviews, and these videos will focus more on exploring into deeper topics, dwelling into the backstories, hidden lore, secrets and easter eggs of the patch. So with that said, let's begin. First, let's talk about the new items of the patch. Fluffy Hat is basically a vitality booster for less than quarter its price, so it's very efficient if you want to survive a hard lane. Orb of Corrosion is a good item on roamers, so heroes who like to buy both Orb of Venom and Blightstone like Tusk and Bounty Hunter would love this item. Eternal Shroud is basically a more personal pipe, and it's a perfect item for Bristleback because it provides 3 things that he benefits from: Magic Resistance, Spell Lifesteal and Mana all in one item. Helm of the Dominator 2 allows to convert ancients, so it has the potential to be really scary on heroes like Lycan, Beastmaster or Chen. They also increased the level of the Alpha Wolf creep from 4 to 5. So this means that if you want to dominate an Alpha Wolf, you must purchase a Helm of the Dominator 2 for that. Wind Waker is upgraded for use, and it brings back the functionality of allowing you to cast the Cyclone on allies again. And when you cast it on yourself, you can move the Tornado during its effect to reposition yourself even over cliffs. This item is good and all, but I think it costs way too much for the things it provides. And if I'm correct, it is the most expensive item in the game right now, and it's clearly not worth the price. Galepnia is basically an AoE damaging root. This item seems good on paper, but there's one problem, because it doesn't really give the attack speed to proc the passive chain lightning. But the AoE root is always a great thing on supports, so maybe it's a support item with a soft disable and a little bit of wave clear ability. And some heroes who would greatly benefit from this item are Snapfire, Elder Titan and Shadow Shaman. Then we have Falcon Blade, Witch's Blade and Mage Slayer. I put these 3 items together because all 3 of them are really good in the right games, but they do have a problem of being too niche and situational. And since they don't build into any late game items, it almost always seems like a waste to buy them. So I think they should really add some upgraded versions of these items to make them worthwhile the purchase. That being said, Mage Slayer is a really powerful item in the right conditions. Its spell damage reduction is very high compared to the spell lamp granted by items like Kaya, and it is only beaten by Ethereal Blade, and a Bloodstone needs 90 charges just to get plus 35% spell lamp. So it definitely lives up to its title, because nukers are severely hindered by this item. By the way, Mage Slayer is based on this set from Anti-Mage with the same name, and this set's bracers look a lot like the Mage Slayer, so I guess they are intentionally porting over existing heroes' artifacts into the game as items and vice versa, because another hero artifact in the game as an item is MKB. But in that case, Monkey King was introduced to the game after the item Monkey King bar. So I guess we can maybe expect heroes based on the item's owners, like Aghanim the Apex Mage. And finally, we have the 3 Blink upgrades. And I really like this change because it solves the problem of Blink being a no stat item in the late game. Overwhelming Blink is a Havoc Hammer plus Blink hybrid, so it's great on strength Blink initiators like Sladar, Magnus and Centaur. Swift Blink grants bonus attack speed, phased movement speed and damage for 6 seconds after blinking. This Blink is a perfect item on heroes like TA and Meepo, and it also seems to be a good option on non-edgy physical damage heroes like Sven. Arcane Blink grants reduced cast point and cooldown reductions for 6 seconds after blinking. The moment I saw this item, I thought it was a perfect item for Enigma because he benefits from every single part of this item. Other heroes who would like this item would be Shadow Shaman and Lion. Now let's talk about the neutral item changes. In this update, a bunch of neutral items were removed and replaced with a bunch of new ones. So let's explore them tier wise. Tier 1. They removed Iron Tyrant and PMS again, so it's safe to say that they really hate these 2 items. These 3 new neutral items are just mini versions of these existing items. Tier 2. When I read about the Quicksilver Amulet, I thought the effect stacks with each spell on cooldown, but turns out it doesn't. And Bullwhip, funnily enough, can be used to whip yourself. Tier 3. Elven Tunic grants attack speed, evasion and movement speed. Ceremonial Robe reduces status resistance and magic resistance of enemies around you. Cloak of Flames gives a passive immolation aura, dealing damage per second around you. Basically like a mini Radiance. This is similar to the Immolation ability or the Cloak of Flames item back in Warcraft 3. I mean, it also shares the same name with this item, so yeah. And back in Dota 1, the Radiance burn was basically made by increasing the Immolation ability's radius. Plus, if you thought this item looks similar, it does, as the icon of the Cloak of Flames item was used for Valdimir's offering back in Dota 1. and that's why the current icon of Valmir's offering looks a lot like these items. And Psychic Headband has an active that can be used to push enemies like Force Staff. This active differs from Force Staff because it doesn't push the target forward in the direction they are facing, but rather it pushes the target away from the caster. Interestingly, this active is identical to the Trust spell that the Dragonhawk hero has. For those of you who don't know, Dragonhawk is an unreleased hero from Dota 1 that never made it to Dota as a finished hero. Tier 4. Trickster's Cloak is a self-glimmer cape with added evasion on top of the magic resistance. Penta-Edged Sword is the old Sanj back when it had the main passive with extra damage and extra melee attack range like what Broomstick provides. Come to think of it, if this item ever becomes a purchasable item, this build-up would be perfect for it. Stormcrafter has the passive removed component of Razor's Eye of the Storm that he had a while back, zapping enemies around you periodically, and it has a mini use active. Tier 5. Giant's Ring is an interesting item which increases the model size of your hero and allows you to walk over any terrain, and it deals damage to enemies when you are standing on top of them. So it's basically like you are stomping all over them. Book of Shadows has an active that allows you to cast Shadow Realm on an enemy, ally or self, with the downside of being silenced, muted and disarmed for 4 seconds, while also dispelling the target. And yes, it also dispels enemies. Searstone now has an active ability that acts a lot like the Warcraft 3 Farseer ability, which reveals the target area in the map for 5 seconds. However, the enemies can also see the area revealed. I guess they recognize that this item is useless for a tier 5 item and decided to give it a buff. That's all the changes for the neutral items. Although a bunch of neutral items were removed, I have a feeling that these items will make a comeback as normal items in the future, because some of them have the potential of being normal purchasable items like Trident. There was also 12 hidden items in patch 7.28. 11 of them are neutral items and they are shown in the screen right now. Satchel is a bonus XP gain item. Star Mace is a mini battle fury. Overflowing Elixir is a bottle-like item that can be used to capture runes. It heals way more than bottle, but it has a 45-second cooldown and doesn't replenish when you are near the fountain. Ancient Perseverance have 50% mana regeneration amplification, similar to the old Perseverance back in the day when it granted percentage-based mana regen. This is probably why this item is called the Ancient Perseverance. Wizard's Glass is an item with a weird active that deals damage to 2 random enemies near you. Oakheart has the active of the old Tranquil Boots where you can target an allied hero and heal them, and it works similar to heal itself. Warhammer has an active that deals damage to enemy and reduces armor. Gloves of Travel reduces teleport cooldown by 20 seconds and prevents TP scrolls from being consumed when they are used. So basically it's infinite TPs. Gladiators Helm has a passive that grants damage, armor and movement speed. I'm not sure if the effect stacked, but that would be broken, so it probably didn't stack. Venom Gland has a passive that acts similar to Orb of Venom with more damage, health regen reduction and a debuff amplification. Shadow of Vengeance basically gives you the ability to passively spawn an illusion upon your death, like Venture Spirit spell, and this illusion can also use all your basic abilities. And the one regular item is Grandmaster's Glaive, which builds from a Skull Basher combined with one of the Trinity Swords. So its build up is like that of Power Threads, and also like Power Threads it has 3 forms that you can toggle from and gain different types of bonuses. So those were the hidden items of the patch. So as you can see, there's clearly a pattern here. So the way I see it, Icerock does seem to have the intentions of bringing back old stuff back to Dota, like I said in my previous videos. So I guess that prediction is also starting to make sense now. And that concludes my review on patch 7.28. Also guys, we are nearing 100 subscribers. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's a lot for me. So I would sincerely like to thank you all for your continued support. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.